My fellow Decepticons, it is I, StarScreamsalot here, coming back at you today with another video, and today we are taking a look at Legacy Armada Starscream. Yeah, can't wait to do this one. I bought this figure a couple of days ago, and I'm really liking this one. It's a bit of some spoilers, I guess, for later, but what are you gonna do? Don't have too much else to say other than let's get into it. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I bought this thing secondhand, so I don't have the wing sword, which is really unfortunate, but it's okay. Let's get all the accessories off. Let's get ready for the paint and detail. Starting off with the head sculpt, you can see there's a really nice black helmet with the white face and the orange eyes, which is a really nice color scheme on a Starscream head. I really do love this a lot. I think it looks like really unique, especially when compared to like the other Starscreams, which let's take Earthrise Starscream here for example, where it's the black head with the silver or like gunmetal face, the red eyes that you can't really see. Yeah, just a unique change that I'm a bit of a fan of. You can also see the nice yellow and black paint on and inside the cannon. The cannon's really nice. Kind of small wings, but I think they look really dynamic on this design. You can see he's also got the cannons, which are very, very cool. Big fan of that. And then the arms, you can see that nice black right there with the yellow on the inside. And just some more red and grays and blacks, just continuing down the arm. Just looks really nice. And then you got this nice chest spot, which has more yellow, red, and black. With this really nice, like, shiny metallic blue, almost, for the cockpit. Which is a inspiring design that's so cool. With these nice pieces right there, that's also cool. Black tip for the nose cone. And just more reds and blacks for the legs. With these wing bits sticking out. I don't know words, man. You'd think that with this kind of design, given how it's mostly red with some black here and there, it'd be pretty boring to look at, but in my opinion, I think this is really nice. Maybe it's because Armada is one of my favorite Transformers media ever. I'm a big fan of this. But I think all the reds and the blacks come together to make a really solid looking Starscream design. As opposed to, let's do a quick comparison, not necessarily the size comparison, but when you compare this to a G1 style Starscream, it's mostly gray with red and blue highlights, as opposed to the red with gray and black highlights, which I think the lack of blue does this Starscream design really nice, because like it's just an interesting change, you know. Don't really know the exact words, but I feel, as much of a G1 Starscream fan as I am, I think this is a really like good alternative design for the character. Taking a look at his accessory real quick, because I don't have the wing sword. He does come with the Star Saber, which is really nicely detailed and painted for an accessory. Got that nice like teal almost, not really teal, but this bright blue. And you can see all the little mini cons that are there. The ship and the everything else. It's really nice. Really nicely painted, really nice detail. It is a bit small in his hands, but I mean it's not as bad as I thought it would be. But it will serve as a sword. And now let's get into his articulation. But before I do that, I wanted to say how if you don't like the look with the cannons just on his head, you are able to just put them down like that, which in my opinion, a lot less interesting. but you can do that. It does limit head articulation though, so now getting into articulation. The head rotates all the way around, get the full 360. You can look up all the way, which is really nice given that he's a flyer. The wings do rotate and they go back and forth. Arms with universal shoulders, bicep rotation, some double jointed elbows. Nothing at the wrists, except you can fake sword wielding wrists, which you can really get him into some like dynamic poses, I guess, with these wrists. And it doesn't look as bad as most characters do when they fake sword wielding wrists. And the leg kick forward that far, kick back that far. Knees bend about 100 degrees, something like that. Do the splits. Really unimpeded, going out to the side like that. Thigh rotation. Some slight pivots both directions with a little bit of foot forwards, some foot back, and heel down. He's a really nice poser. You can get him doing some really dynamic poses, especially with his sword wielding wrists. I think that gives him a very impressive, like, stature almost, I think is the word I'm looking for. He just looks so dynamic in pretty much any pose you put him in. And it's just great. Now, one thing I wanted to point out with my copy, a lot of people's, their thighs would just come off at the mushroom peg no matter what you did. Mine fortunately does not have that issue. However, I do have some pretty loose legs and some pretty loose heels, or just pretty loose feet. So if I'm just setting him down, you know, there's always a bit of uncertainty whether or not he'll stand. But I think he stands just fine most of the time. It has to be like kind of an awkward position for him to fall. It's just his hips are decently loose. Quick size comparisons. As shown earlier, here's Earthrise Starscream. And here is 86 Optimus Prime. There's that. And here's a Laser Prime, I guess. He's decently big for a Voyager, I would say. He comes up pretty high. He's not as big as Earthrise Starscream, being like barely a millimeter shorter. It's okay. I am not at all bugged by this. Transformation time. So I think this is a pretty decent transformation. You're gonna want to start with folding his hands down into his arms like so. Fold the heels down. Put them inside the legs. Then you're going to want to untab this piece. Now you're going to want to make sure this part doesn't collapse because it likes to do that. Like that. And then fold out the wing bits. Then you're going to want to fold the wings onto the arms like that. Do it to both sides. Then you're going to want to fold the back up like this. Then you're going to want to fold the body down like that, tabbing it like this. And fold the head down just like that. And then my least favorite part of the transformation, you're gonna want to take these parts out, kind of put the feet in like that. Do the same to both sides. Do the same over here. Then tab these parts together like that. Just like so. Then you're going to want to fold the arms down like this, tab them in there, just like that. Same to the other side. Bada bing, bada boom. You've got a jet. And this is a pretty solid jet. Pretty nonsensical design for a jet, but what are you gonna do? It works. Fold the cannons out like this. You can do this in robot mode too. I don't know why I didn't mention that, but you can. It's just it's a jet. I love me some jets, so this is a nice addition to my collection. Generally, not a terrible underside. Like, you can tell these are arms, but you know, it looks pretty decent. There's not a whole lot. It's pretty bad with this. I've seen way worse jet formers in my time. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool for what it is. It does look pretty sleek. And from the top, I think it's got a really nice top. That is a nice looking jet. And yeah, it's pretty much the review. So for some final thoughts, this is easily one of my new favorite Seekers. Like, this is up there. Granted, I only have like 4 different Seeker molds, but meh. He's got a really solid robot mode, a pretty good, pretty solid jet mode as well. Transformation gets a bit like kind of annoying with some clearance issues that I have with putting the feet into the body like that. It gets annoying sometimes, but it's not the worst. And as I said, I'm missing the wing sword, which is annoying. And my heels are a bit loose on my copy, but it could be so much worse. So all in all, I am very happy to have this guy in the collection. If I could give him a rating out of 10, it'd be like a 8, maybe a 9. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. If you would, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join my Discord. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.